The talks opening are pushed back to Tuesday. Also, South African President Cyril Ramaphosa's vow to crack down on corruption. He submits his action plan in response to the Zondo Commission's report into graft and fraud in the public sector committed under his predecessor, Jacob Zuma. And Burundi's borders are finally back open again. The landlocked country had been closed for several years to its neighbours, ever since 2015. The easing of movement comes as relations with Rwanda warm up. We hear from our regional correspondent. But first, peace talks for Ethiopia's civil conflict have been pushed back until Tuesday. Delegations from the federal government and Tigrayan authorities battling it arrived in South Africa on Monday for negotiations led by the African Union. Now, 2 years of fighting in the northern Ethiopian region of Tigray have likely cost hundreds of thousands of lives and left millions facing starvation. But details have been hard to come by because of a communications blackout. Earlier, I spoke to Dr. Aklilu Haile Machiel, who is the representative of the TPLF in Europe and the former Ethiopian State Minister of Foreign Affairs.
First of all, it has been 60 days since this terrible war has been waging in Tigray, and since the offensive by the allied forces of Ethiopia and Eritrean forces has been taking place. And we expect results in 4 areas. The first is unconditional and immediate cessation of hostilities. Actually, I have been saying this in a statement that we issued on September 11th. Secondly, the recent resumption of the fighting has resulted in a new wave of internally displaced people. Around 1 million additional people have been displaced because of the fighting. So we expect there will be unfettered humanitarian access to people who live in areas controlled by the allied forces as well as by the Ethiopian government, by the Tigray government. Thirdly, atrocities are taking place inside cities and other areas that are controlled by the allied forces. So we would like international human rights institutions, as well as international media, to come in and observe those atrocities. And fourthly, the cessation of hostilities cannot work if Eritrea does not withdraw. You can't have an effective cessation of hostilities implemented without a third party that is already actively participating in the conflict being drawn out of the conflict itself. So we expect Eritrea will withdraw if the cessation of hostility is signed.
Now, as you alluded to there, a 5-month truce between the TPLF and the federal government fell apart just in August when we saw fighting start up again. How's that likely to affect the viability of these talks?
I can only express the commitment from our side. We have been very consistent since the first round of cessation of hostilities. We have been issuing statements that we are looking for immediate and unconditional cessation of hostilities. But the other side may think that there may be a military solution to the conflict, which is not true. Their advances and control of some cities in Tigray might make them feel that there is a military solution to the conflict. That won't happen at all. Even if they control all the cities in Tigray, it doesn't mean the conflict has ended. The struggle for survival of the people of Tigray will continue in one way or the other.
As you pointed out, getting information out of Tigray has been very difficult. So what is your understanding of where things now currently stand in the region?
There is a complete media blackout in the region, but people who managed to escape areas that are controlled by the allied forces are telling us that the Eritrean and the Ethiopian forces are rounding up hundreds, if not thousands, of young people and then putting them in concentration camps. And they want to continue the kind of atrocities we saw 2 years ago in the first round of fighting.
Dr. Aklilu Haile Michael there speaking to me a little earlier on. Now, South Africa's President